Okay, in this video we will try to understand the types of inheritances. Inheritances are actually of three types. This is known as public inheritance, protected inheritance, and private inheritance. So by default, if you do not specify any option, it performs the private inheritance. So let us create a class, but before that let us write using namespace stt and then create a class person, and in this class we will define our private member. Just write string name as in we write in the previous videos, and then write its getter and setter functions like this. String get name, and it will return the name, and its setter function set name, and it will simply assign string n to the name. And let us write a constructor here for this class person. This is empty constructor that will assign name to blank, and another constructor which will receive a parameter, and it will simply call the set name function to assign the member. So this is our class, basic class. Let us test the project. It is fine. Now we will inherit another class, make another class like student, and it inherits from person. Now when we apply inheritance, we use the public or protected or private keyword here. But if you do not supply any keyword, then it performs private inheritance by default. Now let us see what happens. We are defining a new member of student here, and this is not correct. Int id. Now we'll write its public getter and setter functions like int get id, and it will simply return id, and then void set id. It will receive an id and it will assign to the id member. So these are two functions. Now as student is being inherited from person class, so it should get all the public members into its child class. It means it will inherit all the constructors and these two functions. Let us create two constructors for student class, like parameterless constructor. It will assign id to 0, and it will set name to blank. Okay, and I'm writing this all in one line. I think it is understandable, should be understandable. It becomes easy to learn. And then I'm defining a parameterized constructor with two members, id and name, and this time I'm writing id is equal to id and set name is equal to name, instead of writing complete letters using just n. Okay, we have developed this public function here, and now let us test the project. Okay, it's running fine. Now let us see what happens. These functions, person, constructor, get name and set name. I am writing it one line here just to simplify the things so that we can focus our problem. So these are the constructors, simple, and these are our getter and setter functions. These are constructors and these are getter and setter functions. So in inheritance, all the public and protected members are inherited to the child class. It means student class will be able to call the get name function and set name function of the parent class. But now see, in main function, we are creating a new object of student class, and we are passing id number 1 and name is abc. Okay, now as I have told you that these functions get name and set name are being inherited in this class, but when we call this function like get name and we want to print this value, let us see what happens. There is an error. Basically, what is this error? Okay, this error comes because we haven't included person dot h here. Let us run the project again, build and run, and now error becomes on this line. So what does it says? It says that student has no member named get name. Did you, okay, we have made a spelling mistake. Okay, this is the correct spelling. Now run project again, and now it says actually this function get name belongs to the person class and it is inaccessible within this context. It means that get name is a member of student class which is inherited from person class, but when we have inherited this get name, public function becomes private in this student class and it cannot be accessed outside the class. So if you want to make this get name public and as well as public in this class too, we have to mention that we are using public inheritance. Now what will happen? One thing is for sure, only protected and public members can be inherited to the child class. When we specify public inheritance, then these public and protected members will remain the same in the child class. It means we can, when we got this get name and set name function in this child class, we can use these functions outside the child class as well. Now you can see the product is running fine. And what will happen if we apply protected inheritance here? When we apply protected, it means that all the public members and protected members will be inherited in the child class as protected members, and protected members can be accessed only in the child class, not outside the class. So let us see what compiler says now. It says again error because now this get name is inherited into this class, but it is inherited as a protected member, so it cannot be used outside the class. So we must have to make it public so the access modifiers for the parent class remain the same in the child class, and now we can use it outside the class.